I finished the last lesson saying that we would flat this entire thing using some of the things that we've learned. But I got to thinking about it, and I really think we should at least flat some of this manually, just so you guys are aware of how that works, using just the basic tools without some of the Clip Studio Paint helpful features there that we've learned about. Because not every drawing that you try to do is going to be this clean, especially if you have art that has a lot of hatching, like little hatch lines, crisscrossing, like that can really become kind of a little bit more difficult to deal with. And I don't want you guys to come out of this course not understanding how to deal with this in just about any situation. So we're going to use two tools to just flat this head for this lesson. And then we'll jump in and we'll do the rest of this with some of our new tricks that we've learned using some of these special modes. So the two tools are the lasso, just the regular old standard dumb lasso. Dumb as opposed to not smart, which is some of the others are a little bit smarter. And then we're going to also use the fill tool. Okay, so we got the lasso tool and the fill tool. And I'm going to be using the keyboard shortcuts to switch back and forth. So if I'm on the canvas and you see that changing, just know that I'm clicking those keyboard shortcuts. And in both cases, the lasso tool is set to new selection. Anti-aliasing is set to none. Stabilization, you can put it on 0 or you can set some if you want. It doesn't really matter either way. And then for the fill tool, everything is unchecked and off, okay, except for the opacity is at 100%. We're on our flats layer. The inks is still set to reference from last time, but I'm going to turn that off. So we have no reference layers. This is about as manual as you can get. So I'm going to zoom up on his head, and I'm going to get pretty close. And using the lasso, I'm just going to start over here and start tracing these lines right down the center if I can. And then what I like to do is kind of loop away, and then we're just going to hold shift and keep going. It's hard to try to hold your hand in one place for this long, trace out this entire thing. So I just kind of draw a loop around, and we just keep holding shift to add to it. And I'm going to trace out the beard. I made a little mistake there, but that's fine. We can switch to Alt or Option and remove it. I'm going to turn off this selection launcher for now because I feel like it gets more in the way than useful at this point. Just go to View and uncheck the selection launcher to do that. But for me, it's easier to move my hand down than it is to move it up with Control. You know what I mean? If I'm trying to go up and hold it, it's a little bit harder for me. This might be different for you. So that's why I'm switching to going down again. You guys are really going to appreciate those special modes in Clip Studio when we get done with this, because you're going to love how fast it is. And so once I get the whole shape done, I'm going to zoom out, switch to the fill tool, and it doesn't really matter what color we choose. I'm just going to choose blue. And there we go. We've got the head flattened, or at least the big shape done. So now we never have to trace this edge again. And what I mean by that is, when our tools are set up this way, let's say I want to change the color of the hat and separate the hat from the rest of them. I'm not going to worry about retracing this. There's no need. I'm just going to cut across here. Again, kind of loop around. All I need to worry about is making the separation that I haven't made already. All right, now I can zoom out and we'll select the rest of this. So now if I switch to, say, an orange and hit the fill tool, it's only going to fill to the edge of that shape. Okay, that's what I mean when I say you don't have to ever trace the same line twice. You really just have to trace the separations. And so again, now we're down to, just his head. So I'm not going to worry about anything except tracing the ear out from the beard. Loop this around. Color, fill it. Trace along the beard here. Again, only worrying about separations that we haven't made yet. All that. Pick this color with the eyedropper. Fill. I'm using the right-click button on the side of the pen to switch to the eyedropper to pick a color. And I realize these selections aren't perfect, but for this lesson, they don't really have to be. And you're all seeing the value and why a lot of pros use flatters for this. All right, so you guys kind of get the idea. This is not perfect, but we'll go ahead and knock this out since we're almost done with it here. Switch to like a dark brown. And just change that. So I didn't even have to make a selection for this blue to change that color. I can just click the fill tool to fill it. So if you have to manually flat something, that's kind of the best way to do it, is to start with your big shapes and just continually get smaller and smaller. Now my flatting is not perfect. That's not really the point for this lesson. I just wanted to show you guys how it's done. I was in the process of editing this lesson. I realized there's something I want to bring up for those of you that might be interested in doing flatting professionally. Now, this is not a recommendation that you go out and try to be a flatter. It's a tough gig. It's a tough thing to get started, but in the comic book world, most professional colorists do work with a flatter that does this stage for them. And the expectations for pages that are professionally flatted versus pages that, just need to look good are sometimes different. And so I wanted to show you, I actually reflatted this quickly just to show you these differences. If I turn the line art off after flatting it the manual way, you'll notice that there are, perfectly aliased edges along all of these areas. Everything's very neatly separated. There's no stray pixels, and it's all very, very clean. I have not yet found a way to get this result with Clip Studio's automatic tools. For example, if I turn this off that I did manually and turn this on, which I'm about to show you how to do automatically, it does look a little messy under the lines. Now for final projects, whatever's under the lines doesn't really matter that much anyway if you're going to cover it up with black ink, or at least that's how I think about it. I can't speak for every colorist. I know some have very different expectations about what they want, but that's something I wanted to clarify for anyone that has heard me say before on previous lessons that, hey, we need your flats to be sure they're very clean. This really only applies in very specific professional settings. The end result of this course is not affected in any way because I use the automatic flatting tools. But I felt like I needed that disclaimer at the end of this lesson. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one.